Choosing between speccing into defense and speccing into offense can be difficult in Path of Exile. Often it feels like you're either in a race to kill your enemy before they kill you, or you're having a wet noodle fight with the enemy. Now, with the new additions to the melee portion of the tree, there are more offense-defense hybrid options available than ever before, and I don't see a lot of people taking these, maybe outside of the hardcore community. So, I'd like to go over a few of these today, talk about the benefits of taking some or all of these options in certain builds, and how you can offset the damage. In the background, you're seeing some footage of my character, which is a Facebreaker character, using the Abyssus, and it is also a Berserker, meaning I'm currently taking 10% more damage from one of the Berserker nodes, and the Abyssus is making it so I'm taking additional physical damage. However, I am able to go relatively safely throughout the game, not having to worry about getting too low or dying because of a bunch of powerful offensive, defensive nodes that are now available on the tree, which mostly focus on hybrid attack speed life leech, fortify effect, and the shield nodes as well. So I'm going to go through in this video, go over my character, talk about what I prioritize in these, and maybe instead of having to deal with the fact that you might be dying all the time in high tier maps, or maybe dealing with the fact that in your efforts to not die in high tier maps, you're just kind of not doing any damage, I can guide you to the middle ground between those two. Because I do believe there is that middle ground. In fact, recently I specced into some of these nodes, speccing out of some of my offense, in order to finally beat the Uber Elder on my character. And this is something I've personally had difficulty in the past. I am a somewhat average player, maybe a little bit above average, and so I hadn't had a lot of experience in the deep end game, especially given my affinity for alternate characters. And if you have that same kind of problem, hopefully this will help you out. I hope you enjoy the video, and let's jump into it. Alright, here I am with my level 80 Berserker, Fist and Spin, who looks absolutely amazing without any microtransactions. A lot of the reason for that is a bunch of cool uniques. You can see my shield there. We have the Great Old One's Ward, Loreweave, and Abyssus, all of which look fantastic. And then, of course, we have the Facebreakers themselves. Looks really, really good. And that's not the most important part. The most important part is we are a Berserker. We have this 45% increased physical damage taken from the Abyssus. I'm going to go over the go over the equipment entirely. We have the Abyssus. Our necklace is just generic kind of damage life. You definitely need the physical damage for the Facebreakers build. That's also the reason we're using the Great Old One's Ward. It also gives a decent amount of attack speed and spell block, which is really nice defensively as well. First ring is -7 total mana cost of skills plus life resistance. The main reason I have this is because most of the time I actually do not use Consecrated Path. I'm sure you'll all be disappointed to find out that in fact this is a filthy Cycloner. So most of the time I do use Cyclone on this build. However, currently I wanted to use Consecrated Path because it's something you see a little less, and I wanted to show that that is also a skill that could be used to great effect with the same kind of build. Have a Loreweave, very low physical damage on this, but decent life and middling resistances. The great thing about Loreweave, I've gone over in a video previously how to farm this, is that it allows you to have your maximum resistances set, so you can run minus max resist maps and be absolutely fine. This is really, really nice. So if, for instance, a map says you have -12 maximum resistance, doesn't matter. Loreweave overwrites that. We're going to have 77, which is higher than the natural maximum of 75. Very, very good. Optimally, I'd have a little better stats on this, but I'm out of Divine Orbs at the moment, and I don't really feel like buying them. You can't get a whole lot of them per Exalt, so I'm currently dry on those, 0. I have a face breakers here, which is 793 more physical damage with unarmed attacks, with a maximum of 800. You can get ones similar to this pair for anywhere between 6 and 12 chaos at the moment. They're fairly cheap. You can get worse ones with 785 or lower for like 2 chaos, so very, very cheap. People are trying to pretty consistently, I think, corrupt these, and they're selling the ones they fail to corrupt. I think they're trying to corrupt the +1 melee range on these, making them a lot better for Cyclone, because unarmed Cyclone range is very, very short. For the other ring, I just have, I need a lot of resistances currently, so I kind of just have a high resistance ring. After I make a few changes to my passive tree, I'm going to be running this. Oh, sorry, not this. I'll be running this because it has a tier 1 physical or tier 2 physical damage roll. Plus it's a steel ring and has tier 1 life roll on it. So I just need to make a couple of fixes there, and I'll be able to run that instead. That'll give me a nice little boost of DPS from 250k unbuffed to 262k unbuffed. And with all of the rage counters and the frenzy charges and whatnot, that'll multiply my damage by quite a bit. Just using a leather belt with a lot of resistances. Because we're using so many uniques, we need to make sure we're getting our resistances as much as we can on our jewelry, boots, and of course our belt as well. Boots are not bad, not the greatest. They don't have that high of life, but they do have 30% movement speed, decent resists, and of course the 12% chance to dodge attacks. This is another defensive layer to go with our very high block chance. Currently, we are rocking 45% regular block and 12% spell block, which is fairly high. Might get a little bit higher. I might pick up another 5% or more. Now I'm going to show the tree, which is the most important part. The whole point of the video is to show the tree. So as far as what I did for Berserker, I like getting Pain Reaver to level, although Crave the Slaughter is also very good for leveling because you get the movement speed as well from the Rage, so it'll help you go through very quickly. But I did find that the Leech was very nice while leveling. Now, if you're not having any problems with that, if you have like a Praxis on or something to help with your mana costs, go with Crave the Slaughter first. It'll really increase your leveling speed. Probably going to get Rite of Ruin next. I haven't done Uber Lab yet, but I do plan on doing that soon, probably right after I publish this video. And that'll drastically increase the effects of Rage. However, it does degen us by a lot. When we have max stacks, we're going to have 5% regen, or degen rather, per second, which is a really big deal, especially considering we're already running Blood Rage, which is 4%. So we're going to be degenning 9% of our life per second. Even with a Life Leech and our regen from the tree from like Warrior's Blood and Golem's Blood and whatnot, that's going to be difficult to deal with. So we'll see about that. Maybe just add a War Cry with Warbringer as well for more instant life. As far as the tree goes, here's the exciting part. So we came out here, and down here right away, we have some really nice Fortify effect and melee damage hybrid ones. So Steadfast doesn't give you any damage, but the ones leading up to it do. They give you 12% and 14% with Fortify effect. Every 10 Fortify as a base will make it so you take 20% reduced damage from hits. So every 10% Fortify effect you get is 2% less damage from hits. Another thing that I wanted to note, and I'll kind of go over that, is actually I'll go over it right now. May as well. I want to go over the Lethal Pride jewels. One of the stats that Lethal Pride can get is actually Fortify effect. So I'm potentially looking, and I have it right here, 10% increased effect of Fortify. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes, and I'm probably going to pick up the Endurance charge as well. So theoretically, I could get 6 of these, and I could get 60%. That's 12% reduced damage taken from hits. That would be incredible. Even if I can just get 3 or so of them, it would be a really nice boost to the defenses. So I just wanted to show that. So watch out for lethal pride jewels with a fortify effect. We're also getting fortify effect down here. This one has rampart, which has 10%, and then another 10% there, so 20%. That's 4% less damage from hits. Lust for Carnage. This one's huge. So berserking, okay, it's pretty nice. It's not a bad. It's 18% attack speed for 3 nodes. That's not too bad. The Lust for Carnage is berserking with life leech and increased total recovery per second from life leech. So this increases your life leech rate by pretty drastically while giving you basically free life leech. Fairly incredible. I am going Resolute Technique in this. Currently I have Martial Artistry and Warlord's Reach to give me the additional unarmed attack range, along with Brinkmanship and Pulverize to give me as much AoE pretty much as I can get without a properly corrupted Facebreaker. So that's very important. Otherwise, we have these nodes here: Aggressive Bastion and Command of Steel, along with Retaliation. So more hybrid nodes here. They're in really nice spots because we're going to want to come back up here for Resolute Technique anyway, and for all of these life nodes like the Barbarism, Juggernaut, that kind of thing, and the additional Endurance Charge. So right on the way is this really nice physical damage, block chance nodes, physical damage, percent increased defenses from shields, block chance, block chance. So 8% block chance right there, a lot of damage, and this one also has 5% chance to gain an endurance charge on kill while holding a shield. If your cleared speed is fast enough, you're going to keep endurance charges up just with this. Really nice free defense. Endurance charges, of course, are a great component of that, of the whole defensive playstyle. And then we have this one over here, which is 10% damage and the shield defenses, 4% attack speed and block chance, and then the big one, 3 block chance, 25% attack damage, and 6% attack speed. So Command of Steel, very good. Of course, we have Defiance as well. So we're ending up with quite a lot of block chance from the tree, but we're getting offensive ability from it as well. 8% attack damage with 2 block chance here, and then we get some damage and attack speed from these as well. And potentially I'll take Testudo. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't really want to go through the shield defenses because Great Old One's ward only has 227 evasion, which is very, very low. If I had a bigger shield, then I might do something like that. So lots of cool stuff here. I think I'm a very big fan of all of these defensive nodes. I'm just going to do a quick run through. Oh yeah, and I forgot to go over my last jewel. My last jewel is just flat fizz damage and life is the only important thing. In face breakers, as far as jewels, that's pretty much all you need, is just regular physical damage to attacks and then life. These aren't that great. It is a tier 1 physical damage to attack roll, but the life roll is tier 3. You can always buy better ones than that, and I do plan on I believe somewhere, no, doesn't look like, I guess I could grab this jewel slot right here in the end game. So still a lot to do here. Still have like 10 to 15 skill points that I'm going to be spending here, probably to pick up like jewel slots and endurance charges, but we'll kind of see. One thing, Soul of Steel is really nice if you're not going to be using a lore weave, because it gives you those additional max resistance, and it's particularly good if you can stack a lot of armor. Abyssus has very high armor. If you can get a very high armor chest piece, then this is a good one for you. So that is the character. I'm just gonna do a quick map to show the I'll probably do another strand here to show kind of the clear speed of Cyclone as compared to the other one. LE weakness, don't really want to do LE weakness, so temp chains, beyond. I believe I do have a curse immune flask. Okay, so I'll go ahead and run this. We have the curse immune. I usually just elk and go, but certain maps are a little bit tedious to run. So got our temp chains going on us here, but we pop our curse immunity, pop our blood rage, get going. Pretty decent. And the nice thing about this, of course, is that we can just pop our berserk, which I didn't show off there. So we have berserk, which means we can utilize our rage stacks to get more movement speed, attack speed. I think it gives AoE as well, and attack damage, and those are all more multipliers. So they're very nice for when you get to these timeless monoliths. You can kind of just pop those in and clear out a lot of the stuff here. And once you get that going, by time they pop, your berserk will be available again. And yeah, it looks like I do get AoE from that. But yeah, these guys are a little bit scary normally under normal circumstances, especially given all of the more damage. I mean, I'm only 4 levels above the zone level. A lot of times I'll farm, like 6, 7, 8 levels below, but I haven't found that necessary. I could probably farm red maps on this character. I haven't really given it a shot. I just wanted to make sure I had all the life that I could get before then. And I think this character is a contender. Now, you can utilize this kind of thing in a lot of other builds as well. So potentially you could just get the fortify effect on a regular like crit character, a crit swords cycloner or something, and you could have that additional defensive layer on top of. Oop, we're frozen. There you go. You could have that additional defensive layer and still get a decent amount of offense for it as well. So there's a lot of different things. Shields, I do think shields are incredibly underutilized currently. I feel like if you can get a decent amount of damage while still using a shield, it is worth doing so because of the defensive utility that you can get from these really, really great shield nodes that are available on the tree. So if you can get a comparable or even like a decent majority of the kind of damage you could get by dual wielding, it's probably still worth it, especially considering a lot of people are hitting with the impale cyclone characters. And there you go, you just pop rage for the bosses and you kill them pretty quickly there. You're with the impale, you're able to reach damage numbers that are very, very, very high with fairly little investment. So I would say potentially try throwing some of these nodes in your build, like these shield nodes here, or potentially the fortify effect and the life leech attack speed nodes here, since these are kind of centralized in the same area. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Special shout out to Ty, my patron. If you want to support me on Patreon so I can make more videos more frequently, you can click up in the corner there or check in the description below. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye!